There comes a moment in every person's life when they must make a solemn decision, not a casual preference, not a whispered intention, but a soul-deep resolution. That decision is this: will I spend my days obsessed with others, comparing, chasing, reacting, or will I rise to the throne of my own mind and govern my fate with discipline, clarity, and unshakable purpose? If you are listening to this, then destiny has already extended its invitation, but it will not wait forever. Let me speak to the part of you that is tired, not physically tired, but spiritually exhausted from the weight of distraction, from the burden of emotional reactivity, from the invisible prison of always needing others to approve, to agree, to applaud. That is not freedom. That is dependence dressed in the costume of social connection. And I tell you now, as Napoleon Hill would have told you in the quiet hush of a private council, that the only man or woman who will ever know success, peace, or greatness is the one who stops wasting time on the world and starts mastering the universe within. Let us begin with the first eternal principle: definiteness of purpose. Without it, you are a ship without a rudder, drifting at the mercy of winds you do not control. But with it, you are the architect of fate itself. You must know what you want, not vaguely, not someday, but clearly today. You must fix your gaze not on others' progress, others' noise, others' drama, but on the singular vision of what you are here to build. If you do not claim your purpose, the world will hand you its distractions. If you do not dominate your thoughts will serve your fears. And if you do not stand guard at the door of your mind, lesser men will plant their doubts where your dreams should grow. The man who focuses on others is a spectator. The man who focuses on himself is a creator. Let me say it again, and let it burn into your mind. Don't waste your time on others. Focus on yourself today, because your time is your life in disguise, and your life is slipping by every second you choose reaction over responsibility. Now, you may ask, but how do I stop caring what they think? How do I stop needing their support, their validation, their permission? And I will tell you, through emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is not apathy. It is the highest form of power, the ability to remain calm in the storm, to choose thought over impulse, to maintain vision when the world around you goes blind. The weak react, the strong respond, and the wise remain unmoved until movement serves purpose. This is the law of mental neutrality. Just as a bank vault does not open to emotion, your inner kingdom must remain sealed against chaos. Do not be so easily disturbed. Do not trade your peace for temporary applause. Do not hand your emotional sovereignty to those who have not earned your respect. You see, the masses live on borrowed opinions and recycled feelings, but the master lives on discipline, mental discipline. Mental discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. Without it, your goals are daydreams. With it, your thoughts become commands, not suggestions to your subconscious, to your actions, to your destiny. And how do you build this discipline? First, through the principle of autosuggestion. Speak your vision daily, not out of desperation, but as a decree. Say it when you rise, say it when you fall, say it when your emotions try to trick you into smallness. Because the subconscious mind does not argue, it accepts. And what it accepts, it builds. But if you allow the opinions of others, the insults of critics, or the praise of the crowd to enter your mind unfiltered, you give away the throne of your life to strangers. No more. From this day forward, let every word you say to yourself be intentional. Let every thought you think be born of purpose, not impulse. This brings us to the next foundation: mastery over emotion. Understand this well. Emotions are energy. They are neither good nor bad. But when you are unaware of them, they become your master. When you are conscious of them, they become your fuel. Anger can build empires if governed. Fear can sharpen your decisions if understood. Even doubt can refine your plans if used wisely. But unchecked emotion, it destroys. It sabotages. It whispers lies that feel like truth. It causes the strong to beg and the wise to waver. The man who cannot master his emotion is not yet ready to master success. For how can you lead others if you cannot lead yourself? How can you demand results if you cannot command your own thoughts? This is why you must become still, mentally still. The power of calmness is not weakness. It is the condition under which all clarity is born. No invention, no fortune, no legacy was ever built from panic. Think of the greatest minds. They did not scream. They did not beg. They did not compete with noise. They moved in silence, governed by thought, not frenzy. You must become that. Be the one who says nothing when others overtalk. Be the one who acts when others overthink. Be the one who remains calm when the crowd burns with emotion. That is mastery. And now, I give you one of the most sacred truths of personal power. Thought first, emotion second. Most people live backward. They feel, then think. They react, then regret. They move, then stumble. But the builder of destiny moves with thought first. He does not ask, how do I feel about this? He asks, what do I know to be right? Then he acts accordingly, regardless of feeling. You must train yourself daily to live this way. When insulted, pause. When afraid, breathe. When tempted to explain yourself, smile and say nothing. Because mystery commands more power than confession, and silence is often the loudest voice in the room. Never over-explain. Never beg to be understood. Never dilute your vision for the comfort of others. Those who misunderstand you are not your problem. Your problem is allowing their misunderstanding to matter more than your mission. The principle is simple. You cannot walk on water if you keep looking at the waves. Now let us speak of personal initiative, the fire of all greatness. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be unanimous support. There will never be an absence of doubt. So if you are waiting for permission, you are already defeated. Start now with what you have, from where you are. Build first in your mind, then in your habits, then in your world. And remember this above all else. Every time you choose silence over defense, you build inner strength. Every time you detach from chaos, you multiply your control. Every time you focus on your goal instead of their noise, you accelerate your destiny. This is not theory. This is law. And now, I turn to you, not the outer you, but the core of your being, the part of you that knows it was made for more. The part that is tired of wasting time on people who do not see, do not care, do not matter. Focus on yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of strategy. Because the more you master you, the more power you gain over every room you walk into, every decision you face, every future you shape. So rise now, not in ego, but in clarity. Shut out the noise. Burn the need for validation. Stand guard at the gate of your mind. And say it with conviction. Today, I serve no opinion but truth. I chase no approval but my own. I answer to no emotion but purpose. You were not born to react. You were born to reign. Don't waste your time on others. Focus on yourself today. If you wish to become a master of life, you must first become a master of attention. And let me tell you this with all the seriousness a man can summon. Attention is your most sacred resource, and where it goes, your destiny follows. If you give your attention to conflict, you will inherit chaos. If you give your attention to gossip, you will inherit mediocrity. But if you give your attention to your own growth, your own mind, your own vision, then you will inherit greatness. The tragedy of most people is that they wake up and instantly allow the world to dictate what they should think about. Their minds are colonized by comparison. Their will is hijacked by trends. Their emotions are leased out to opinions that have no bearing on their higher calling. But I ask you now, how can you ever claim your future if you're still enslaved by the moods of others? You must become a sovereign over your own thoughts. And sovereignty begins the moment you stop explaining yourself. When a man feels the need to constantly justify his actions, he has already surrendered his throne. Let your work speak. Let your silence roar. Let your results explain what your mouth cannot. You were not born to be understood. You were born to be effective. You were not created to please. You were created to produce. And every time you stop to ask, what will they think of me? You lose a fraction of your fire. Let us now consider a higher law, one that separates the few who rise from the many who wander. It is the law of selective association. You become like the people you surround yourself with, not by force, but by osmosis. Their energy becomes your emotional climate, their doubts become your hesitations, their distractions become your excuses. So I give you this rule, and I want you to carve it into the walls of your conscience. Protect your proximity. If they drain you, starve them of your time. If they confuse you, remove their voice from your decision-making. If they belittle you, they do not belong near your becoming. And do not be fooled. Emotional loyalty to unqualified people is not nobility. It is sabotage. You owe no one the right to slow your evolution. Detach, rise, rebuild. Now, let us return to the inner sanctum, to the part of you that has been neglected, scattered, stretched thin across the noise of the day. That place is called the inner world, and it is the only world you ever truly own. The outer world will tempt you. It will tell you to hustle without direction, to respond to every opinion, to chase after every crumb of applause. But the inner world whispers truth. The inner world says, slow down, aim higher, think deeper, act with reason. And the man who listens to that voice, the voice within, becomes unbreakable. This brings us to the principle of accurate thinking. To think accurately is not to merely think often. Most people are mentally busy, but spiritually absent. They confuse thought for noise, analysis for clarity, complexity for wisdom. To think accurately is to discipline the mind to separate fact from fiction, emotion from principle, urgency from importance. It is to ask before every action, is this in alignment with my definite chief aim? If it is not, it is discarded. If it does not serve your purpose, it is noise. If it does not build your destiny, it is distraction. And you must learn to reject distraction the way a king rejects poison, without apology, without explanation, without delay. You must train your mind as a warrior trains his sword with care, with repetition, and with sacred purpose. Now, some will ask, but what if I'm misunderstood? What if they think I'm cold, distant, arrogant? And I will answer you as plainly as I can. It is none of your business what others believe about your discipline. Your life is not a democracy, it is a monarchy, and your vision sits on the throne. Let others talk. Let them whisper. Let them misinterpret your silence as ego, your solitude as weakness, your intensity as overthinking. Let them, because the same people who question your withdrawal today will one day marvel at your results, and when they do, you owe them nothing. Now we arrive at a truth so powerful. It alone can restructure your life. The greatest enemy of progress is not failure. It is divided energy. When your mind is pulled in 5 directions, your soul is scattered. When your emotions are tied to others' approval, your decisions are delayed. When your time is spent observing rather than building, you inherit the destiny of those you watch. And so I say, unify yourself. Think in one direction. Feel in one direction. Act in one direction. Let your yes be yes and your no be final. Let your path be straight, not pleasing. Let your time be for vision, not validation. This is what it means to truly focus on yourself, not in vanity, but in alignment. The world will tempt you to keep up with others, but you are not here to keep up, you are here to break through. Let us now consider the seed of all transformation, personal responsibility. You are not a victim of opinion. You are not a servant to mood. You are not a reflection of public perception. You are the cause of your results. And until you accept that without exception, without complaint, you will remain in the waiting room of your own life, hoping the world gives you permission to be powerful. But the world does not give. It watches, it tests, and it rewards only those who seize, who decide, who act. You must be your own permission. You must look in the mirror and say, from this day forward, I give myself the right to evolve. I give myself the authority to detach. I give myself the freedom to say no to what drains me and yes to what disciplines me. You must become the final word in your own life. The moment you do that, the doors of destiny swing open. And so now, I issue a call not to your ears, but to your will. The time has come to stop delaying your greatness in the name of social politeness. The time has come to stop negotiating with weakness. The time has come to cut off everything, and I mean everything that does not feed your becoming. This includes emotional habits, thought patterns, lingering attachments to people who once mattered but no longer serve your mission. Release them. Grieve them, if you must, but do not revisit the grave of an expired version of you. Who you were yesterday does not qualify to lead you today. Burn the old script. Write a new one with boldness, with solitude, with inner fire. This is what winners do. They are not built in crowds, they are forged in silence. They are not addicted to attention, they are addicted to self-command. They do not explain, they execute. And I say to you with all the urgency I can summon, become that. Become the rare one, the disciplined one, the focused one, the one they whisper about, not because you are loud, but because your results are undeniable. That is your future if you stop wasting time on others and begin finally to build the masterpiece within. If you are still listening, then I know something about you that most people will never discover about themselves. You are ready. You are not merely interested in success, you are willing to pay the price. You are not content with inspiration, you hunger for transformation. You are not here for entertainment, you are here for elevation. And so I will speak to you as I would speak to a builder of empires, a commander of thought, a sovereign of will. Because only those who are ready to rule themselves are qualified to shape the world around them. Let us now explore the invisible force that determines the shape and success of your life, your inner standard. Understand this, you do not get what you wish for, or what you hope for, or what you wait for. You get what your standard demands. Your standard is the invisible ceiling above your actions and the unspoken limit beneath your decisions. If your standard tolerates distraction, you will live in confusion. If your standard accepts excuses, your progress will crawl. If your standard permits mediocrity, excellence will avoid you like a plague. But the moment you raise your standard and enforce it with discipline, you raise your destiny. And to raise your standard, you must first separate yourself from those who have none. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. You were not born to be the emotional caretaker of the undisciplined. You were not called to dim your focus to accommodate those who fear your growth. You owe them love, yes, but you owe your destiny obedience. And obedience to destiny means detachment from distractions. Now let me tell you something that very few will dare to say. There is a profound loneliness that comes with elevation, but that loneliness is not a punishment, it is preparation. The higher you climb, the thinner the air. The deeper you think, the fewer who understand. The stronger your vision, the more resistance you will encounter from the small-minded and the unfocused. But you must persist not with noise, but with stillness, not with defense, but with direction. Because the mountain does not apologize for being tall. The lion does not explain its hunger, and neither should you explain your separation to those who are comfortable at the base of life. You are not here to convince, you are here to conquer. You are not here to blend in, you are here to break through. And if that requires solitude, so be it. Let it forge you. Let every lonely day shape your character. Let every quiet night deepen your clarity. Let every misunderstanding refine your mission. Because the man who can walk alone with focus will one day return with power. But the man who fears detachment will forever be enslaved by emotional debt. Now, let us explore a tool so powerful it can change the trajectory of your life in mere weeks, your daily rituals. Your rituals are the physical embodiment of your thoughts. They are the bridge between what you say you want and what you actually do. And here is a secret that will offend the undisciplined. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your rituals. So if your morning begins in reaction, checking phones, chasing problems, absorbing noise, you are already behind. But if your morning begins in command with stillness, with focus, with a reminder of your definite chief aim, you begin with the world beneath your feet. Every morning you must declare war not on people, but on passivity. Every morning you must win, not through action alone, but through alignment. And alignment requires silence. You must get quiet enough to hear your inner wisdom, clear enough to see your next step, and strong enough to take it without asking permission. That is self-command. And the more you practice it, the more magnetic you become not to people, but to purpose. You begin to attract situations that match your clarity, decisions that match your strength, and outcomes that match your inner temperature. Now you may say, but how do I stay consistent? What if I fall off? What if I get tired? And I will tell you this, consistency is not about feeling, it is about identity. The disciplined man does not ask, "Do I feel like doing it?" He asks, "What would the man I'm becoming do right now?" And then he does that, whether it is cold or hot, whether he is praised or ignored, whether he is afraid or confident. Because success is not a mood, it is a standard. And standards are not based on feeling, they are based on decision. You must become loyal to your future, not your emotions, because your emotions will lie to you. They will tell you to wait, they will tell you to seek comfort, they will tell you to avoid risk. But your future will only respond to action, especially the kind taken in silence when no one is watching. So act, even when your feelings resist. Move, even when your mind hesitates. Decide, even when the outcome is uncertain. Because every time you do, you strengthen the most critical muscle in your entire being, your will. And the will, once forged, is the gateway to all power. Now let us address the final poison, the subtle, socially accepted addiction to being liked. Listen carefully. The need to be liked is the assassin of destiny. The desire to be universally accepted will make you universally average. You cannot lead and follow at the same time. You cannot create and conform in the same breath. And you cannot become exceptional while seeking approval from the ordinary. So I challenge you now, with all the boldness of a man who knows what greatness demands, to become unbothered by rejection, to become unmoved by misunderstanding, to become free of the disease of over-explanation. Because the man who stands for something will always be rejected by those who stand for nothing. But he will be respected first by his own conscience, then by history. And that is all that matters. So rise now. Stand up not with noise, but with discipline. Stand up not with applause, but with alignment. Stand up not with the validation of others, but with the vow you make to yourself right now that from this day forward, you will not explain, you will not wait, you will not shrink, you will not dilute your focus to comfort others. You will not invest time where it brings no return. You will not hand your crown to the unqualified. You will become your own leader. You will be silent when silence is strength. You will speak when speech is sacred. You will work, build, command, and create, not because the world asks you to, but because your soul has chosen to. And you will never again waste your time on others when you have a destiny to build within yourself. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they leak it. They leak ambition through conversations that go nowhere. They leak it through apologies they never needed to give. They leak it through emotional investments in people who neither build nor believe. And day by day, drop by drop, the reservoir of potential runs dry, not because it wasn't full, but because they refused to seal the leaks. And so I tell you with the gravity of iron law, if you wish to rise, you must learn the art of emotional conservation. Your energy is not infinite. Your attention is not free. Your focus is not a public resource, it is a private weapon, and it must be protected with intensity. Do not waste your inner fire explaining yourself to the cold. Do not waste your silence trying to calm the loud. Do not waste your mind on problems that are not yours to solve. This is the mature detachment of a builder, and it is not cruel, it is calculated, because you cannot build a monument with hands full of distractions. You cannot plant a future while staring at the weeds of opinion, and you cannot claim power if your identity is tied to how others treat you. Now listen to this next truth, and let it echo in your consciousness. You are not tired. You are undisciplined. You are not drained. You are distracted. You are not overwhelmed. You are overattached. And all of it can be corrected the moment you decide to focus on yourself. When you stop waiting for someone to save you, when you stop hoping others will change for you, when you stop reacting to every opinion, every comment, every moment of misunderstanding, because the moment you stop seeking emotional rescue, you start constructing emotional resilience. And emotional resilience is the root of inner peace. Let us now dig deeper into the foundation of success, self-discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It is not about what you lose, it is about what you gain. You do not become free by doing what you want. You become free by mastering what you must. And here is what you must do. You must do it even when no one is watching. You must train even when you're tired. You must write, study, create, think even when the world is asleep. Because greatness doesn't happen in front of an audience, it happens in the dark. In the hours no one sees. In the decisions no one applauds. In the sacrifices no one understands. But the man of vision does not need applause. He needs alignment. He does not need motivation. He needs clarity. He does not need to be seen. He needs to see clearly where he is going and what must be done to get there. And once that clarity arrives, excuses die. Because clarity kills confusion, and confusion is the root of all hesitation. So get clear. Get clear about what you want. Get clear about what distracts you. Get clear about who drains you, and then act accordingly without negotiation. Because the undisciplined man will always be ruled by something, whether it's comfort, impulse, opinion, or fear. But the disciplined man rules. He rules his time. He rules his mood. He rules his direction, not because he is special, but because he is deliberate. He acts by principle, not preference. He builds habits, not hopes. He aligns with purpose, not popularity. And in doing so, he becomes unstoppable. Let's now speak of the enemy of all sustained success, emotional reactivity. Understand this well. The world will always give you something to react to. A comment, a delay, a betrayal, a crisis. But reaction is weakness. Reaction is the death of foresight. Reaction is the moment when emotion overrides logic and vision bows to impulse. And the cost of reactivity is your peace, your power, your momentum. But detachment is clarity. It is the power to observe without absorbing. It is the strength to witness a storm without becoming it. It is the discipline to choose response, not reaction. And response is where your leverage lives. The world respects the calm. The clients trust the stable. The investors fund the composed. The leaders are chosen not for charisma, but for control. So learn to breathe when others shout. Learn to think when others panic. Learn to walk away when others chase chaos. That is not retreat. It is royal strategy. And now, let us confront one more illusion, the myth of being understood. You do not need to be understood to be great. You do not need to be liked to be effective. You do not need to be validated to become a legend. In fact, the more clearly you see yourself, the less permission you need from the world. Because those who truly lead, they are misunderstood first and followed later. So let them misunderstand. Let them question your silence. Let them mislabel your distance. Let them assume arrogance where there is focus. Let them call your discipline cold and your solitude weird. Let them, because their misinterpretation is not your burden. Your responsibility is not to be understood, it is to become unshakable. And once you are unshakable, the world bends around your consistency. Now take this truth and weld it to your mind. You do not need more time. You need less distraction. You do not need more followers. You need more focus. You do not need more motivation. You need more mental order, because from order comes momentum. From momentum comes mastery, and from mastery, legacy. But legacy begins with one choice: to stop wasting your time on others and start building yourself, for yourself, with yourself. Not next week, not when you feel better, not when the world aligns. Today, because today is all you have, and your future is watching. It is watching how you handle this very moment. It is watching what you ignore, what you delay, what you tolerate, what you choose, and it is forming itself in the image of your choices. So choose now with boldness, with resolve, with the strength of one who has remembered their own power. Choose to protect your focus like it is sacred, because it is. Choose to guard your energy like it is gold, because it is. Choose to detach from what does not serve your highest self and never return, because that is the path of the one who builds empires in silence and emerges unstoppable. The place where few are willing to climb, not because the mountain is too steep, but because it demands the death of comfort, the sacrifice of external approval, and the burial of every excuse ever told to the self. You stand here now at the edge of two realities. One is the familiar, reactive, noisy, scattered, where your time is spent dancing in other people's dramas, where your power is diluted by emotional need, where your future is postponed by the opinions of the unqualified. And the other is sacred. It is the realm of the disciplined, the realm of the emotionally detached, the realm of the mentally sovereign. It is a place not found by chance, but earned by choice again and again and again, until the choosing becomes your character and the character becomes your future. And so I ask you, as every great teacher has asked those who came before you, which life will you build? Will you continue pouring your genius into empty conversations, shallow judgments, emotional entanglements that go nowhere? Or will you fully stop and redirect every ounce of your focus back to its rightful place, your purpose? Because until you do that, nothing you build will stand. Every effort will be shaky. Every step will feel uncertain. And every success will be poisoned by a fear of losing what others think you should be. But once you make the decision, the true, final, and irreversible decision to focus on yourself, 1,000 chains fall off your mind. And the weight of all the people you were trying to please simply disappears. Because truth does not require approval. Vision does not beg for votes. And discipline does not pause for applause. Let me say to you now, as if you and I are standing in a quiet room, away from the world's noise, and I'm looking you in the eye. The future belongs to the man or woman who learns to say no, no to chaos, no to gossip, no to emotional reactivity, no to the expectations that shrink their soul. But this no is not bitterness. It is boundaries. It is the line drawn in the sand between who you've been and who you now choose to become. And who you choose to become must be chosen daily. Not once, not when it's convenient, but every single day, when no one is clapping, when nothing feels urgent, when everything inside you says rest, wait, delay. It is in those moments you separate yourself from the crowd, because the crowd moves with feeling. But you must move with mission. The crowd acts on impulse, but you must act on principle. The crowd watches, you build. The crowd debates, you do. The crowd reacts, you respond. The crowd attaches. You detach not from people, but from weakness, from confusion, from anything that waters down the purity of your vision. This is why emotional detachment is not the absence of love, it is the presence of power. Because love, real love, cannot grow in dependency. It cannot bloom in obsession with approval. It does not survive where identity is outsourced to strangers and self-worth is measured by reaction. No real love begins where self-respect is built. And self-respect is forged in solitude. So sit with yourself. Be honest about what no longer aligns. Be ruthless about what steals your energy. Be fierce in your commitment to eliminate the unnecessary. Because the truth is simple. Your peace is worth more than being liked. Your growth is worth more than being included. Your future is worth more than being understood. And if that means walking alone for a season, walk tall. Walk as one who knows that silence is not emptiness, it is incubation. It is the sound of a new mind being born. And that mind, that razor-sharp, focused, detached, disciplined mind is what will carry you to the places you used to only dream of. You will not get there by blending in. You will not get there by pleasing everyone. You will not get there by checking every reaction, managing every mood, responding to every comment. You will get there by building, stone by stone, thought by thought, choice by choice, in private, in silence, in solitude. And one day, without announcing it, you will arrive. Not with noise, not with fanfare, but with undeniable results. And the same people who didn't understand your silence will now understand your success. Because results are the language the world cannot argue with. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them invent stories. You build. And if you must sacrifice popularity to gain purpose, then sacrifice it willingly, gladly, without a second thought. Because the true price of greatness is not money, it is focus. And focus can only live in one place at a time. Put it in others and you stay lost. Put it in yourself and you become found. This is the master key. This is the final truth. And now it is yours. So what will you do? Will you delay another year waiting for the right moment? Or will you decide today? Will you continue explaining your discipline to people who live in distraction? Or will you close the gates? Will you keep begging for understanding from those who cannot understand purpose? Or will you turn inward and become sovereign? Because that is the only way. There is no shortcut, no loophole, no technique more powerful than daily, quiet, focused, emotionally detached execution of your highest standard. So from this day forward, speak less. Think deeper. Move with weight. Train like a warrior. Detach like a monk. Act like a king. Build like a god. And never again, waste your time on others. Focus on yourself. Today, now, always.